What's going on, everybody? We're back again with another video, and this video is going to be if you are wanting to get your first AR-15. You may have guns, other guns, you may not have a gun. This is the video for you. I'm just going to go over a few things for you to understand, and you're going to want to know before you make the purchase. Now, I know a lot of the times when you see titles like this, you're like, wow, well, what's the problems? And it's not necessarily a problem. Some things, some not. Just watch the whole video. So basically, backstory, when I got my first AR-15, the way I got my guns and bought them were order of importance and utility, right? My first few guns were both pistols. My first two guns were pistols. One was a full size for home defense. The other one was a carry gun. So, for the job. My third gun was my first long gun, which was a shotgun. I decided to buy my first AR-15, which was my fourth gun, because I felt like an AR-15 is better in more situations than a shotgun is. Or at least for defensive situations, I should say. And overall, I wanted one. A lot of different reasons. They're very, you can easily customize them. Their recoil is not bad. And even when I was a gamer, I used to play shooting games. That's my favorite, and I used to like, just the look of the M4/AR-15 and stuff. So, but when I first got my first AR, I had no intention to customize it. I was well aware that was something that was easy with the AR-15, but I wasn't planning on doing that. Reason, I don't know. I just thought the basic, look and basic, it'll do just fine, which it will. But one of the biggest things I'm going to caution you people who want to buy an AR-15 your first time, I will caution you, it's a rabbit hole when it comes to customizing. Now, my first AR-15 looked like this. Now, this is not my first AR. I don't even know what number, but this probably like I don't think about it, but this is what it kind of looked like. Now, the only difference here is instead of having a mid-length handguard or a mid-length gas system, I had a carbine length gas system and handguard. So imagine this handguard cut maybe back here, it cut off about probably that much, and then this front sight post was back here. So that's the only difference. But this was the basic look and build of my first AR-15. Now, the reason why I got one that looked like this one, I like the look of the old style M4/M16. I just like it. Two, it was my first AR-15. I wanted to spend as little as possible without sacrificing quality. I didn't want to go too far. So my first AR maybe cost me, and the way I did it is I didn't buy it outright like this. Now, first of all, this right here is a Anderson lower receiver and a Palmetto State Armory upper receiver, and I put together the lower receiver from parts, and the upper I just got. It was complete. But my first AR they're both Palmetto State Armory upper and lower complete. That's how I did it. So I bought it in two halves and snapped them together. So I spent maybe $500 to $600. I don't know exactly, but it's around there. It wasn't that expensive. So I had it basic, and I'm like, I don't want to customize it. And yeah, that didn't last very long. I'll tell you right now, customizing ARs is so easy that you're almost compelled to do it. And here's what I mean. You'll go into a gun shop looking around, how us, gun people are. We'll go to just stop by and look, maybe not even want to buy anything. We might end up buying something. But basically, we go to the gun shops and you'll see accessories like stocks, foregrips, pistol grips, sights, lights, rails, stuff like that. And you're almost compelled to try it out because some of these items aren't that expensive, But So I went down the rabbit hole like that. I basically, I would see a stock maybe for 20 bucks, 30 bucks. I'm like, let me try that out. And then I would switch it. And I'm like, wow, I like this. I can just switch anytime. And even sometimes fucking I would sometimes I would, you know, if I got bored one day, I just look at my AR and I want to switch it up. So I'll have extra parts and stuff and just switch them. And that's how that goes. So just be aware that you may fall down that rabbit hole. And I will tell you right now, it adds up. It adds up quick. Now granted, I have a box full of extra parts, AR parts and stuff like, pistol grips and da da da, all that. Well, I'm happy I have it because I can switch it out anytime I want. It still will cost you a pretty penny over time. So I went from this style of AR, right? Carry handle. I bought the carry handle separate, but carry handle, basic, heat shield, hand guard. Can't really do much with this. Front sight post, budget rifle. To this right here. Yeah, this is what I went from that to this. Okay, now what this is, and I will do a review on both of these rifles separately, but just in the short term, this one is a BCM upper, Bravo Company upper. It was complete. And then this lower is an Air Precision lower receiver. It was also complete. So this gun cost me, without all the extras on it, maybe $1,300. And if you add the other stuff, it's gonna go up past $2,000, maybe close to $3,000 or maybe $2,500. But basically, yeah, this is what I went to. Got an EOTech magnifier, so for distance and stuff. And by the way, both of these rifles are clear, just to let you know. Empty magazines and empty chambers, but yeah. So now something like this obviously gives you more capability, but I will say you don't necessarily need all of this stuff. Okay, iron sights will work just fine, and that's just how it is. Now I will say this doesn't have really many ways where you can attach things on here, but you all obviously, since this is more simpler, you get a drop in, so you can easily take it off and on. Whereas this one right here is it's bolted on, so you can't really. I mean, you could take it off, but it's not hard, but it's not as easy as that one. But you obviously can get a quad rail for that, which I did for my first one. And actually, real quick, I'm gonna show you what my first one looks like now. Give me 1 second. So this is what my first one looks like right here. So you see, I have a quad rail, I have a light Sig Romeo 5 red dot, which is pretty cool. This is actually my home defense rifle. I like it a lot. I painted it just because, I wanted it to look different. But now this is what that looks like. But yeah, just giving y'all a heads up. Don't fall down a rabbit hole. Also, on a good note, these things are awesome to get into. Yeah, I have multiple of these, so that's another rabbit hole. Because the thing about AR-15s is they're so easy to customize, right? That you want different builds, right? Even though they're all ARs, all of these rifles that you see are all AR-15s, but they're built differently. They different accessories, different parts and stuff. And I appreciate different kinds of builds. I like the more modern stuff like this, even though the magnifier with the EOTech, I still consider it modern, but it's not as modern as some other things. But something like a modern, design or build like this is I appreciate it. But then I also appreciate something that's a little bit older like this, or even the M16, design with the 20-inch barrel and rifle length gas system. So I have multiple because I like different builds and the way they look. Same with like something like this, it looks similar to this, but it has less things on it, and it's just I appreciate all the different types of builds. That's why I have multiple. And also for trying different things. But yeah, just be careful when you get into these, because it's easy to fall down rabbit holes, multiple different rabbit holes, you know, when it costs money. Now I will say this to you people who are considering getting a new AR-15 or or your first AR-15. You don't have to spend this kind of money. First off, okay, I didn't, and you know, it makes sense how if you're new to stuff that you're not wanting to spend so much money, because what if you don't like it? So I understand why you would want to spend, you know, money like this, like 600 bucks, right? And then upgrade it, or maybe later on get a new one that's a little bit better. Now granted, your palmetto states will work just fine for most situations. I more personally like spend a little bit more money for something just out of the quality control that you'll see, better quality control, but this will do you just fine for almost every situation, especially when you're talking civilian, or like, yeah, we'll just say civilian scenarios, not military or law enforcement or stuff. So buying something like this first makes sense, and I would recommend it. Now if you if you have the money to put on something like this, and it's not gonna break your bank, then that would probably be better. But most people won't spend over $1,000 for an AR-15, their first AR-15. It's just not, you know, you don't really see it that much. So what I would recommend you do, and this is just my opinion, start here, right? Because you can buy, and you could buy not a too expensive quad rail, which a lot of people talk shit, you know, oh, it's not a Daniel Defense Ridge 2, it's not, it doesn't need to be any of that, okay? We're talking about civilian situations here, okay? As long as it holds on, and the bolts and shit you use to screw in don't back out, and it holds your accessories, that's all you need. My quad rail on this rifle, I'm guessing, I can't remember, it might be a Monstrum Tactical, I think. But this thing's held up just fine, and I shoot this thing a good amount. But yeah, just get your first one like this, upgrade it, and then later on, if you want, you know, to get a new one that's more like this, you can. Now you can make this, or you can make this one look like this. It'll just take a little more work, because you're gonna have to take this front side gas block off, get a low profile gas block, take the delta ring off here. It's a little bit more gunsmithing to do, but you can do it if that's what you want. But I like having multiple for different roles. That's another thing. The getting your AR-15, once you realize how easy it is to upgrade, you're not gonna want to keep changing it around all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I had my first AR, and I had one AR for a while, and I would consistently change it, and I'll put pictures up for you guys to see the same rifle that I've changed multiple different times. And I just wanted to change it just to get different style and stuff, and I got tired of it. I'm like, bro, I want to keep this style, but I only had one rifle. So it's gonna make you want to get multiple different AR-15s for different builds. That's on that part there. But yeah, man, I will say getting these things is awesome, but there's multiple different rabbit holes you probably will be compelled to go down, and I'm pretty sure other people can vouch for that too. But you know, it's up to you how you want to do things. I just recommend it. Start here, you know, maybe upgrade a little like I did here. Remember I told you this AR-15 looked like this at one point, and like I said, I will put photos up for you guys, but now it looks like this. Right, I decided to put a little paint job on it. It doesn't look too great, but it looks good enough for me. Just rattle canned it, and this is a home defense ready gun. So yeah, and then later on down the road, when you have money, or you saved up some money and you want something a little bit nicer, then you go for something like this, BCM upper, Aero Precision lower. Now granted, I'm still not at the point where I'm willing to spend like over $2,000 for a rifle, or AR-15. I think BCM is the sweet spot. I like him, but that could change. You know, but yeah, it's a lot of getting into, man. It's a lot, all the parts and accessories, all the stuff you can buy, and you go online and you see all these parts and stuff and things you can add to your rifle, and then you got different sights and stuff. You got different types of iron sights, you got flip ups, you got electronic optics, you got LPVOs, you got all this type of stuff that you can put on these things, and it's so easy. that you're just like, damn it, I have to do it. So that's just my little warning ahead of time, and my warning to you guys who are wanting to buy your first AR-15. Just a couple of things to understand and know before you decide to make that decision. Real quick before I go, I'm going to give you some brands that I recommend. So Palmetto State Armory, recommend. My first few AR-15s being this one, and I believe my second one, actually I think my second one was this one. I can't remember, but basically I got multiple PSA products in my rifles. So that one's full PSA. This one has the upper and then the Anderson lower. PSA I recommend 100%, especially for your first AR-15. And they have great deals all the time. So not only can you get good guns from them, you can get good deals on good, like example like this optic right here, this EOTech EXPS3. They have a deal going on there. They have deals all the time with that and stuff. Another brand I recommend that's a little bit more budgety, I would say Anderson's decent. Now, I've never shot an Anderson, but I'm going off of what I'm hearing that they're decent rifles. Bear Creek Arsenal, I hear they're okay. They're pretty decent. I've actually shot one before, so they're okay. But then if you're gonna go a little bit more higher, I mean, you also got your Smith & Wesson MMP 15s, your Sport 2s. Those are obviously gonna be good. They're gonna be more of a build like this, but you can upgrade it obviously. Also, your your Ruger AR-556. I hear those are great as well, and they're reputable companies, and like I said, you want to go up past the $1,000 mark, then I would go with something like this. Okay. And yeah, just that's my little video to you guys that are willing to that you guys want to dabble into the AR world, and these things work. And obviously there's downsides and stuff, but overall you can't go wrong with an AR-15. But that's all I got for y'all. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to subscribe to Mark's channel and the podcast channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.